guys, welcome to another episode of Fish from the West. I'm your host John B, and today I'm going to be breaking down 4 specific rigs. Now I'm going to be doing one rig today, one rig tomorrow, one rig on Friday, and another one on Saturday. And all 4 of these rigs have one thing in common, that being that they are reaction baits that imitate shad, bait fish, any type of live forage that fish will hit. And these are pretty unique. Some of you guys may never heard of these rigs before, ever seen them. And today I'm just going to show you how to use them, how to rig them, and when they work best. So I hope you guys stay tuned and enjoy today's episode. Now the first we're going to be talking about today is a cross between a reaction type and a finesse rig, and it's a really interesting thing. Now a lot of people are throwing spy baits today. A lot of people are throwing, you know, the Flash J minnows, and what that is you basically nose hook a small swim bait or needle tail jerk bait or minnow, and you've got like a little spin on the top of a spin blade on top of right behind the jig head, and you just kind of work it very subtly and slowly. But what I've done is kind of created a weedless version of this without being a hard bait, and I feel like using a hard bait kind of, you know, it's in a very effective way, but it almost in a sense is too heavy, and something that's weedless and is a little bit more light can be more effective when you're starting to get some of that sediment starting to rise, especially around springtime when that ice starts to melt and you've got that early algae and some of that early grass starts coming up. It can be really annoying when you're trying to throw reaction baits. So what this rig is an awesome bait to throw this time of year right after ice out, and it's a very subtle, small, and very, very unique rig that can catch you a lot of fish. And I'm going to show you how to rig it. Now before I begin, you're going to want to pick up some of these opti-shad Optimum swim baits, and what they are is you can get the 5-inch or the 2-inch. I think they come in a 2 or 3-inch, and all they are is they're a very skinny, slender swim bait, almost like a jerk bait, but with a paddle tail on the back to create vibration and action. And it's really, really dire, and you need to pick some of these up in order for this rig to really excel and to perform at its highest ability. Along with that, you're going to need 2. You can either choose metal or plastic beads, preferably something that matches the color of the bait that you're using. Probably a size 2 EWG offset hook, and a small 1/16 ounce or a little bit higher lead or tungsten bullet weight. And what you need to do is you need to go online and pick up one of these little props right here, these spin props that you can find on like the back of a head-in. If you've got an old head-in topwater lure, you can use that, or you can pick them up online. I'm sure I'll post some links below where you can find them. And that's all you pretty much need. And this is, like I said, is a very finesse technique. It's mainly used for spinning rods, light line, but you can throw it on a heavier line. Actually throw it in like a little 6-foot bait casting setup with 12-pound test. So depending on what you're fishing for and how you're fishing and where you're fishing it, you just have to use the setup that cooperates best with that situation. So what I'm going to do first is take my 6-pound fluorocarbon line. I always use fluorocarbon, especially this time of year, because the water tends to be a little bit clearer around ice out, and or if I'm just fishing this place in a clear water, which it definitely can excel in, it's necessary to use a very translucent line, something like fluorocarbon, 100% preferably. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by taking our 1/16 ounce, I've got a tungsten weight right here, very tiny, you can see that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to thread that through nose first, and ideally what you want to do is put a peg before that, but I really don't have any with me, and it works without a peg too if you don't have one. It works just fine, but I just like throwing a peg on there so you don't have a whole lot of slip and sliding. And after that, you're going to take your little bead right here. I chose metal, a silver metal bead, very tiny. Make sure the hole's big enough to fit your line through, nothing too tedious or small, especially this cold weather can be kind of hard to get through there. And I'm going to slide that down there. So this is what the beginning looks like. You've got the weight and then the bead following that. Then after that, you're going to take your little prop that you've taken off your head-in spook or your head-in prop bait, and you're going to put it on like so, like this. It's very important how you put it on your line. You don't want to put it backwards, so the crease of the blade is facing towards the weight. You want it to be the V shape going down on your line, if you can see that. I don't know how to explain that. That's probably the best way I can explain how to put that on there. So after that, it should look something like this. And as you can see, it's already starting to spin there. And once you do that, you grab your last bead, and you can put as many beads as you want on here. I just only think 2 is necessary in order to create a good action in that bait. And what you want to do is put the other bead right up on there. So you have tungsten, bead, blade, bead. And that's basically the main rig so far. And after that, all you need to do, which I'm not going to do because it takes some time, is tie on your hook. Now the smaller the better. I like using a light wire hook because it doesn't weigh down the bait too much, and the whole key of this is to create a spybait weedless type presentation that doesn't sink as fast as a spybait. And what you're going to do is you're going to take a hook that looks just like this, and I'll post the links where you can find these, and tie it on there. And once you do that, you're going to take your opti-shad, your 5-inch or 2-inch, 3-inch, whichever you prefer. Once it's tied on, you stick it on the nose like so, put it through, and then once right there, I'm going to turn the hook around and slide it up. I'm going to bend that back just a little bit, give me some space, and slide it through so if a fish crunches down on that, hook's exposed. And what it'll look like is this right here. And it looks really unique, and it's an awesome little setup. You should give it a try because it's a really underrated technique, and with spybaiting be a huge thing right now, it can be just as productive or even a little bit more productive because it can get in places where a spybait can't necessarily. You know, Jackal's come out with one, Weedless has come out with one, and this is just something a little bit different. And this is kind of your do-it-your-own project, and it's not expensive. You know, these Optimum baits are inexpensive, but at a very good quality price point. You know, these things are excel for what they're priced for, and then you can get the hooks and the tungsten and the components for an inexpensive price without dropping $16 or $17 on a spybait. And this thing can do maybe a little bit more than what you'd think. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for tomorrow's video and the upcoming ones where I show you 3 more early spring techniques great for ice out and great for reaction fishing. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time on Fishing in the Midwest.